What's going on, you guys? Today I'm going to do a quick review of these heated insoles. In this review, I'll tell you everything you need to know about these things, including one thing you should know before buying. All right, guys, so I got these heated insoles for one main reason. So I actually use them already in my hunting boots. I have hunting boots and I use them and I've liked them a lot. And one of the other things I like to do in the winter is hiking. So I don't go like super high or whatever, but I do quite a bit of hiking. I use these and I need to put these inside of here. But before I did, I figured I'd explain how they actually work so that you understand if you're considering getting them yourself. So first off, do they actually work? The answer to that is a resounding yes, they do. It's pretty simple the way that they work, right? So back here, so obviously this would just go into the shoe, right? We just put it in like this and we'd be good to go, cut it to size, etc. But the way that they work is right back here. So you see this is the little charging port right here. This is the on-off button. And then we're gonna hold this real quick. And you can see right now it's blinking red. That basically means it's on standby. We're gonna press it. So red is the hottest temperature. Medium is the like middle temperature, and green is the cold temperature. I had to actually look at how much these temperatures were. And red, we're talking in Fahrenheit here, is between 131 to 149 degrees. So that'll last about 5-6 hours. Orange is 122 to 131, which is about 7 to 8 hours. And then green is 104 to 113, which is about 10 to 11 hours. So usually my feet tend to sweat anyway, and I kind of have warm feet. So I usually just use the green and that's enough. But obviously that can depend on, what you prefer. Fitting them to your footwear is just like any other thing, right? So it's pretty easy to do. You just basically cut the line. But as you'll notice here, it says do not cut below this line. That's very important because what there is inside of here, there's basically like a mesh wire, if you will, that actually warms up. So this is the part that primarily warms up, right? There's a little bit that happens down here by the heel, but mostly by the toes, which tend to get, those are the things that tend to get the coldest first. So you really don't want to cut below that line because if you do, you could potentially hit the wire mesh that's in here that could act, that heats everything up. So that said, one of the things that I was worried about when I bought this was like, okay, well, so that means every time that I use this thing, I've got to go back here, flip the heel up and actually press this button to get the, the heat that I want. So red, orange, or green. That's actually not true. So what you can do, which I like, is, so we're just gonna go into, let's see, okay, we're in standby mode for both of them. It comes with this nifty little control, right? And we'll press H for high. And this is one of the issues with this. Sometimes it doesn't always catch it, but there we go. So now we're on high, right? And if we wanna go to medium, we'll do medium. And if we wanna do low, we're on low. And then if you just want to turn them off, you can turn them off. And if you want to turn it back on, you can do that too. It automatically starts in standby mode. One thing to know is that every time I've done this and I'm pressing high, it doesn't seem to really go to high. Oh, it did there actually. Okay, so it doesn't always seem to kind of register. So sometimes I'll have to put it on medium first, then high. But that's how you can actually do this without having to flip up the heel all the time, which would be super annoying. So guys, one of the things I want to point out here, you notice how there's two charging ports. There's a charging port here and here. So one thing that's really nice about the charger itself is that it plugs into USB on one side and it has the two charging port wires on the other. So yes, you can charge these at the same time. So yeah, that's how they actually work and everything you need to know about that. In terms of the things to know before you buy, so there's a few things. So first off, this area is latest, like the last one to heat up, right? It primarily is going to heat up through here first, which is nice for your toes. But one thing I want to point out, I have a size 11.5 feet. So sometimes it takes some time. If your toes get cold really bad, it takes some time for this to really hit your toes because the heating element is down here, right? So your toes, if they're all the way up here, well, they're not really, they get scrunched or whatever, right? But it just takes a little bit more time to actually get them warm. So that's one thing to know. The other thing to know is in terms of cleaning these, because that was my biggest worry, right? It's like, okay, well, these things eventually are gonna smell and everything like that. Mine lasted in my hunting boots about, I want to say about 6 months-ish was I think about the time. But that was really, for me, that was like 3 hunting seasons. So it actually worked out pretty well. But in terms of cleaning these, you can't submerge them in water. You cannot do that, right? You have to kind of spot clean. You can clean this part, but I mean, there's instructions all over it, but you cannot submerge them in water because there's a lithium battery in here, right? So it's a little bit difficult in that regard. If they smell, those sort of things, you can take them out and you can clean them, but it's mostly spot cleaning. So one thing to consider if you get these is that eventually, once they start to smell really bad, you're probably going to have to get another pair. But in terms of keeping your guys, your feet warm and everything like that, they really do work. And I definitely recommend them if you're similar to me and are having issues with that.